Ever since the launch of the Xiaomi Mi A1, the phone has basically dominated the under 15,000 rupee price bracket. The company did reduce the price of the Mi A1 immediately after the launch of the Honor 7X. Was this just a coincidence, or was this fear of another phone coming into the market? My name is Bharat, you're watching iGyaan, and today we're going to be comparing these two phones. So let's get started. For a price of 13,999, the Mi A1 is one of the most interesting smartphones available in the market today. It has an amazing build quality and design. It is available in a few colors that are all appreciated by owners, and the overall form factor and fit and finish of the phone is excellent. The Mi A1 also runs a stock Android operating system, which allows it to update to the latest OS rather quickly compared to other devices. They did roll out the Android 8 update on the 31st of December of 2017 as they promised, even though it was the last day of the year, making the Xiaomi Mi A1 a compelling package for those looking for new smartphones, those looking for updatable and rather sturdy smartphones. The Mi A1 was the pick. But enter the Honor 7X. With a slightly better premium build, a better display with an 18:9 aspect ratio, a tad bit improvement in terms of pixels per inch, a bigger battery, and a lower price tag of Rs 12,999. A lot of people are confused on what phone they should pick between these two, and hopefully our comparison will make it slightly easier. Now, for a price of 12,999, the Honor 7X comes with a 5.93-inch display. It is an LTPS IPS LCD display with a 2160 by 1080p resolution, giving it a total of 407 pixels per inch. In comparison, the Xiaomi Mi A1, which is priced at 13,999, has a 5.5-inch display, which is an LTPS IPS LCD display as well, but a 16:9 aspect ratio with a 1920 by 1080p resolution, giving it a total of 403 pixels per inch, meaning that despite the larger aspect ratio and the larger screen size, the Honor 7X gets a larger PPI score. Now, at launch, both the phones were running Android 7.1 Nougat out of the box, whereas the Xiaomi Mi A1 now, on December 31st, got the Android 8 update along with the stock Android OS, which it does have, whereas the Honor 7X does run EMUI, which is a lot more customizable, which has a lot more tweaks and customizations that the user can set up according to their needs. If you talk about what's inside, on the Honor 7X, you get the high silicon Kirin 659 chipset along with the Mali T830 MP2 GPU, 4GB of RAM and 32 or 64GB of onboard storage, with expandability available up to 256GB. On the flip side, the Xiaomi Mi A1 does have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 chipset with the Adreno 506 GPU, the same 4GB of RAM, but a higher 64GB of onboard storage, which is expandable to 128GB additional. Now, what's interesting to note here is that the Honor 7X with the 32GB capacity is available for 12,999. The Honor 7X does offer in support for 256GB micro SD card, so that is definitely a plus point for the Honor 7X. Whereas with 64GB and 128GB, you're pretty much sorted in terms of storage on the Mi A1. The primary camera on the Honor 7X is a 16MP camera plus 2MP depth sensor setup, whereas on the Xiaomi Mi A1 you get two 12MP sensors, one with an f2.2 aperture, whereas one has an f2.6 aperture. The Xiaomi Mi A1 also captures 4K video at 30 frames per second, whereas the Honor 7X captures 1080p video at 30 frames per second. The front camera on the Honor 7X is an 8MP camera, whereas on the Mi A1 is a 5MP camera. Both of these devices have fingerprint sensors located at the back of the phone in a similar location, along with a dual camera setup, which is also quite identical. Now, the Honor 7X offers up a similar experience with a similar footprint with a larger display. Now, this display in itself is reason enough for a lot of people to choose the Honor 7X over the Xiaomi Mi A1. Whereas Xiaomi is promising phones with a larger 18:9 aspect ratio in 2018, the Honor 7X offers that and is available today. From a day-to-day performance, an 18:9 aspect ratio comes in really handy, especially if you're doing things like multitasking. Watching a video on the top and browsing through the website at the bottom comes in really handy. It also manages to handle multitasking really well, so if you're switching between videos or playing a video on the top and then start playing a video on the bottom, it seamlessly pauses the first video and starts playing the other video. RAM management on the Honor 7X is top-notch, and it manages to run through your day without any lags or stutters in your day-to-day performance. It also handles multitasking really well. The Honor 7X also offers up a really good gaming experience with relatively large and loud-sounding speakers, and you'll thoroughly enjoy the gaming experience, even though you tend to muffle up the speaker because of the location that it's in. The same kind of experience is offered up on the Xiaomi Mi A1 with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 processor and 4GB of RAM, along with the Adreno 506 GPU, able to handle most of the day-to-day needs along with your gaming capability and multitasking really well. The Honor 7X does get the advantage of this nice large 18:9 aspect ratio, allowing you to do multitasking slightly better in a long format versus the 16:9 aspect ratio that you get on the Mi A1, which does not offer up the same capability but manages to handle multitasking really well. Now, whereas on one hand the Xiaomi Mi A1 offers up stock Android performance and capabilities, the Honor 7X offers up some of the customizations that Xiaomi users are used to and are not able to get on the Xiaomi Mi A1. So things like dual apps, creating shortcuts, managing gestures, all of those things that are basic tweaks that you can do on EMUI are not available natively on the Mi A1 out of the box. So you'll need to download a whole set of applications, a whole set of ROMs and custom tweaks. So if you're into all of that, that's great. But if you want an out of the box experience, the Honor 7X does offer that. Things that Xiaomi is known for are missing on the Mi A1 majorly and can be a big setback for those switching from a MIUI phone to the Mi A1. Again, EMUI really uses up the 18:9 aspect ratio display really well, allowing you to scale apps that do not support this ratio to full screen with a setting that you can enable from the settings panel, and then you can choose what all applications you want to default to full screen. So games and apps that you use on the frequent that may not be scaled to utilize the 18:9 aspect ratio can be scaled up simultaneously in EMUI, and it'll offer up a seamless usability experience. Now, in a pure benchmark comparison, the Xiaomi Mi A1 does score higher points with the 63,000 on Antutu, whereas the Honor 7X getting a 58,000 on Antutu, purely because of the differences between stock Android and a custom skin. The Mi A1 does get an advantage in that aspect, giving you slightly better day-to-day performance, but with a lot of customizations and features available on the Honor 7X, the performance benchmark results might take a hit, but your day-to-day experience is not that much different. Now, the camera setup on both of these phones is vastly different. On the Mi A1, you get dual 12 megapixel sensors with an f2.2 aperture on one sensor and a telephoto sensor with an f2.6 aperture. While getting the 2x zoom advantage on the Mi A1 is good, the Honor 7X offers up a 16 megapixel sensor with a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which manages to sort of create better profile and better portrait images, whereas the Mi A1 can also manage portrait. Both of these phones don't offer any customizations in terms of portrait shots, which is slightly a bit of a letdown for both of these devices. I wish there was more control and more support on portrait images. You do have a lot more modes on the Honor 7X when you're shooting the image. So you do have a wide aperture mode, which works really well in low light environments and slightly better than the Mi A1 in low light environments, utilizing light from both the sensors. Whereas image quality is more or less identical on both of these phones. We'll leave images in front of you side by side, and then you guys can be the judge of that. We also found that portrait mode or bokeh mode on both of these phones is a hit or miss. So if you manage to get the perfect picture with the perfect setting, you get really good portrait shots, whereas in certain scenarios you'll miss out the shot and then you'll get a really trashy bokeh shot. So in both the phones it's a hit or miss depending on how well you manage to capture that image and how much the light is hitting your subject properly. So it's a hit or miss as far as portrait shots are concerned. Now, video capture, the Xiaomi Mi A1 captures 4K at 30 frames per second, whereas the Honor 7X captures 1080p. So between a full HD and a 4K video recording, depending on what your needs are, both of these phones don't offer any form of image stabilization, which is again a big letdown. If you're capturing video, you do need that image stabilization. Both these devices don't have that available. Video quality, we'll leave samples right now on your screen so that you can have a look. Either way, if you need 4K video, the Mi A1 is the only phone that offers that. So definitely that gives it a slight bit of an advantage. Now, both the cameras offer lots of shooting modes. So you get time-lapse modes, slow motion modes, along with filters, manual photo, or manual video. A lot of customizations available on both the cameras, on both the devices. That's something that we've seen typically with a lot of these smartphones. Now, the good thing is that the Honor 7X does have an 8 megapixel camera with a wide-angle lens. We found that the image control is much better on this for the front camera. So if you like taking selfies a lot, the Honor 7X definitely gets an added advantage on the front camera with the kind of pictures that you'll be be able to get, with the quality of pictures that you'll be able to get. You also have a portrait mode and beauty mode available on the front camera. The images overall turn out to look better on the Honor 7X in my opinion, and that is definitely an advantage that the Honor 7X gets. If you're looking for better selfies, the Honor 7X definitely delivers in that region. As far as phone calls and networks are concerned, both the phones managed to handle phone call capability quite well. We found identical network capability from both of these devices. Both of these devices also offer up expandability, 256 GB on the Honor 7X and 128 GB on the Mi A1. From a battery life perspective, we found that the Honor 7X offers up not only a larger battery but also slightly more screen on time. So you can expect at least a half an hour to 1 hour increase in screen on time depending on your usage on the Honor 7X. And both of the phones come with standard chargers inside the box, taking anywhere from 2 hours to 2.5 hours to fully charge up the devices. At the crux of it all, both of these phones are quite similar in what they offer. The Honor 7X offers a slightly better premium build with a design with an 18:9 aspect ratio, making it more sort of modern with the 2017-2018 lineup of phones. The Mi A1 with a similar design with a 16:9 aspect ratio, huge bezels on the top and the bottom, restricting the usage of the phone in the full like you would on the Honor 7X. In terms of a pure benchmark result, the Mi A1 scores higher, and that's possibly because of the stock Android build. From a day-to-day performance, like I said, both of these phones are quite identical. As far as camera capability is concerned, these phones are also quite identical, with the Honor 7X offering slightly better low-light performance, whereas the Mi A1 offering 4K video recording capability for those who need it. The Honor 7X also offering a slight better improvement in terms of portrait and bokeh, according to my personal tests, and the front camera on the Honor 7X is also better in terms of the kind of images that you can get from it. Phone call capability is quite identical. Battery life is bigger and better on the Honor 7X, and pricing starts at 12,999, albeit for the 32 GB variant, whereas the Mi A1 with the 64 GB variant is available for 13,999. Both of these phones at great price brackets, at great value for money. So definitely go check both of these phones out if you're in the market, and both of them winning in different aspects over one another, making a really difficult choice for the consumers and honestly making a really difficult choice for us. So if you're looking for slightly better front-facing camera and slightly better battery life, the Honor 7X wins. But if you're looking for slightly better performance and stock Android experience, the Mi A1 wins. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and take part in our giveaways. We'll leave those in the description below. Become a part of Team iGyaan to get notified each time we upload a new video. This has been Bharat. Thank you for watching iGyaan Network, and I will see you in the next one.